Good evening, Tillamook High School basketball fans. It's warm-up time. Tonight, the Tillamook High School Cheesemakers enter into the OSAA State Playoffs. This is OSAA U.S. Bank, Les Schwab Tire State High School Championship basketball action from Grande High School. The Cheesemakers on back-to-back trips to the east side. The first one successful, but tonight's going to be tough as they take on the number 2 ranked team of the state and the 19-2 Grande Tigers. Grande has not lost in this new gym at all. This is the first year of a beautiful facility remodel that they've done here. Grande has never lost here, as there are 2 losses this year, one to Pendleton, one to Hermiston, both bigger schools and both on the road. They come in with great talent, great athleticism, and a good tradition here in Grande, and they're looking to earn themselves a trip back to the Tillamook side of the state as the state tournament opens up on Thursday at Pacific University in Forest Grove. It should be a great showdown tonight if the Cheesemakers can play well. Of course, Tillamook has nothing to lose as they're 10 wins and 16 losses on the year, ranked 18th in the state. They have the number 15 berth into the tournament, the 4A tournament. Cheesemakers coming off that win, 66-49 over Ontario last weekend. And Ontario, they've been sitting and waiting for 2 weeks. We'll see if that comes into play here as the 2 teams square off on an early start here in Grande. We're going to talk to Tillamook head coach Greg Werner about tonight's game after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball and Warm-Up Time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Tillamook Cheesemakers and the Grande Tigers here from Grande High School. Great crowd on hand already, and there's more piling in to a very large gym, a gym that has more seating than the Tillamook gym because of the end bleachers, about 20 rows on one end and 8 or 10 on the other. You can hear the Tillamook High School pep band down on the far side. They made the long trip over here to entertain against a very nice Grande High School pep band as well. This is state playoff basketball action. Doesn't get any better than this over FM 95.9 KHIL in Tillamook. Before the game, we had a chance to talk to Tillamook head coach Greg Werner, and here's what Greg had to say. Greg, come off a huge win last week in the play-in round as you headed to Ontario. Let's talk first of all about that ball game. Kids played about as well as they could play, competed hard, hit shots, and down the stretch picked up a win that has to be one of your best of the year.
Yeah, I thought so. You know, we came out, we played really good defense, I thought. They were very athletic and, gave us a few issues at the beginning as far as getting the ball into the key and then kind of collapsed us. And we got into foul trouble in the first half, put them to the line way too many times. But we made a few adjustments, and, the guys at the end of the game really were disciplined, I thought, because we've been in some games earlier in the season where we kind of fell apart at that point, and we were able to salt it away by playing team ball and not forcing shots, and ran our offense and made them play D, and then cat and mouse. And so I thought all in all it was the best game that we've played from start to finish.
You also got through that game using different players the whole ball game. It wasn't like Jacob and Ian carried you through that ball game. It was across the board a good outing, and that's a testament to the fact that a lot of these kids have had to step up at different times this year, and it was a benefit. You said it would be down the road, and it certainly was last week.
Yeah, I agree. Jake got in foul trouble, and those games are hard when you're in foul trouble. I know because I was in foul trouble all the time, so it's really hard to get in your rhythm. And then, we had guys come in, and Tyler gave us great minutes, had some putbacks, and, he's really athletic. And then Anthony came in at the end when Jake fouled out, gave us a solid finish. So it's a total team effort. At this point, I almost liken this game to like a semifinal game where depth will be a factor in this game. We just unfortunately get to play it, at third place. But from here on out, that will be an indicator of how teams will do is how deep can they go.
One of the things when you come to the east side, you don't know much about these teams, and so Ontario, that didn't seem to affect you. You competed real well with them. LeGrande, certainly the better of the two teams. They're 19-2 on the year. What do you know about them, and what are you going to have to do to stay in this ball game?
And going into the season, I assumed whoever came out of the co-op would be well prepared, and so they're similar to like a Scappoose where they're going to dribble drive. LeGrande, of course, has some really good athletes. Peasley's probably one of the best athletes in the state at any level. And so, just keeping the ball in front of us and making sure that we're all rebounding and not taking chances. That's a huge indicator for us to, as far as the formula is concerned. And then offensively, we've got to make sure that we're taking care of the ball. Games that we didn't do that, we really struggled because it's hard to overcome those turnovers because typically they're a live turnover. Now you're chasing and now you're fouling and, it's just kind of snowballs. But I would say I would expect them to be just like Ontario in the fact that they're going to be dribble drive and they're going to kick it for a three and then they're going to try to rebound it over the top of us, which they have the guys to do it. So we really have to be disciplined. And, it'll be a great challenge for us. And we will have played 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the state. So it's been a rough road, and we'll have about 1,500 miles by the time we get home tonight. So I can kind of feel what the NBA does on the East Coast swing. But, the guys have been great. Whether we win, lose, or draw, whatever, I've really enjoyed the time with this group. And we just want to do it together, whatever we do tonight.
So with the group, you've had time now over the course of the last week to get ready for this. Do you feel like they come in today as relaxed and ready to play as we saw last weekend, or is their attitude changed knowing that you win this ball game, you get to go to the big tournament?
It's an interesting bunch. I'm not sure. I kind of ebb and flows with it. They kind of keep each other in check. They're loose. But, last weekend we just came out and we competed. And, that's a tribute to, Ian is really the one that's come around. I thought he had his best game I've seen him play for us at the varsity level in the last 3 years, and so kind of his maturation, being able to manage on the floor was an extension of the coaching staff last week. And so I'm hoping for more of it, but you just don't know because, a lot of them haven't been in this position in the team sports. So we're trying to get that culture back to where, we expect to win. And the senior group is coming around. And so we're excited for that. And we want to send them out on a winning note.
You've also been on the other side of the dial here and sat for 2 weeks waiting to play a game. Advantage because you get to play at home. Disadvantage because the team coming in has played a game or 2 or 3 for you last week. And so not near the layoff issue. Is that going to be a difference in this game?
It's good and bad. It depends on the group. I would say, though, with us, that, the rest, the E turned into a U. It ended up being rust. But I would say, that probably counters them having a 10-point lead because it's a home court. So, it depends on the group. We got to the point when we won league, we would have a fill-in game. You always take a chance somebody getting hurt, but then you also are trying to fine-tune your skills. And, so that's a fine line. I'm not sure what they've done. They got Eastern Oregon right across the walkway here, so I'm sure they were playing against those guys. And but, yeah, that is a tough angle. But I guarantee you that the depth will be a major factor tonight.
So as you look at this inside game tonight, how big are they? How important is that going to be for the Cheesemakers?
Yeah, that is a great question. They're really athletic. I think we match up well with them, but it just depends on how disciplined we are. When we keep the ball in front of us, then it allows our bigs to have time to help. And when we don't, then we get in foul trouble. Then it starts that whole thing off. I would say offensively, we gotta play above the rim with our bigs, and and Jackson and Tyler have really, the last couple of weeks, they and the swing players have really improved. And Coach Lamb was talking about how over the years that the last 2 weeks, the improvement you see with the bench and some of those guys that maybe didn't get the time in the off season. So regardless of what happens, we are using this as a springboard for next year, and that's been our approach all along.
Well, it's got to help the reality, just like sending the football team in the NCAAs to a bowl game. You've had 2 more weeks of practice than you had a year ago, and you've played in games that mattered in every case. That's got to help you down the road.
It does, because you have a focus, you have a game plan. You have to, like I said, last week we just made some small adjustments, but it made a huge difference in the game because we stopped fouling them. So I would say, the last 2 weeks have been huge for us, even more so than the summer. Because summer you don't really scout, you're not, it's more laid back. You're still trying to get, your fundamentals down and whatnot. So, yeah, we're excited that we're in this spot. We didn't know where we were going to be. We're kind of, the kids are, we've had a long road. I mean, it's literally. So, the kids have really come together, and we had a great night last night, had a team meal, and talked about, what our goals are and how we're going to do that, and hopefully we can make that come true tonight.
Oh, Greg, wish you the best of luck, and look forward to a fun game here in LeGrande.
All right, thank you.
And again, we'd like to thank Greg Werner for his comments for tonight's game on warm-up time. We'll be back with more warm-up time after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball and Warm-Up Time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Great atmosphere for basketball here. It's OSAA US Bank, Les Schwab Tire State High School Basketball Championship action. Want the latest information on your favorite high school team? Log on to OSAA.org. The OSAA has scheduled scores and official rankings for all member schools and all team sports. At OSAA.org, you'll also find playoff brackets, broadcast schedules, and historical records. For more information, visit OSAA.org. Tillamook Cheesemakers at 10-16 on the year, and against the 19-2 and very athletic-looking LeGrande Tigers. Both teams have warmed up in this beautiful, beautiful facility in LeGrande. A bright, new, shiny floor, a high ceiling with a four-sided scoreboard like you see at the old Memorial Coliseum that hangs from the ceiling in the middle. It's a great setting for basketball here, and the town has turned out, as you would expect, with the number 2 ranked team in the state, the LeGrande Tigers. Starting lineup tonight, first of all, for LeGrande. Again, 19-2, ranked second in the state. At the guard tonight, it's going to be Zach Jacobs. He's 6 foot and a senior. And at the other guard, a junior at 5'9", G.T. Blackman. Down low, it's going to be Elias Stiltanen at 6'5", and a senior, and also a sophomore, Caden Chandler. He's 6'2", an extremely athletic-looking sophomore. And then the key to their whole puzzle, it is Andrew Peasley, one of the best athletes in the state. He's 6'3", and a junior, as Peasley will be the guy that if he goes off on you, you're going to have a hard time winning this ball game. Starting lineup for the Tillamook Cheesemakers on the other side, it's going to be at guard, Ramon Flores. Flores, 5'8", and a junior, coming off maybe his best ball game of the year out in Ontario, where he really paced the Cheesemakers, took the ball hard to the hole, and converted many times. The other guard's going to be Ian Collette, leading scorer in the last game and through much of the year with the Cheesemakers. He's 5'8", and a junior. He can create a shot about whenever he wants to. The question is he going to knock him down tonight? Because LeGrande is going to come out in a 1-3-1. They're going to trap you and pressure you, and the Cheesemakers have to maintain possession if they want to stay in this ball game. The other guard for the Cheesemakers is going to be Jacob Berge. He's 6'2" and a senior. Jacob Berge's been shut down a little bit. They're going to come out and pressure him. If he finds an opening, he can kill you from the outside on the long ball. Jacob Berge's going to have to play a good ball game as well to stay in this game. And then down low, it'll be Seth Rummage at 6 foot and a senior, and Jackson Johnson at 6'4" and a senior. Both teams getting ready to be introduced on the floor. The fans that wrap all the way around this facility, filling it up and doing a nice job here, as it should be a great atmosphere for basketball. Les Schwab Tire is a proud supporter of Oregon School Activities Association for more than 60 years. Les Schwab Tire Center has taken pride in performance, providing superior value and building customers for life. With more than 450 stores across the West, you are never far from your local Les Schwab. Les Schwab Tire, doing the right thing that matters. Cheesemakers and Tigers getting ready as they unfurl the flag in the corner. Very nice touch as it rolls down like a screen as they get ready for the national anthem. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back with the starting lineups again after this. And the singing of the national anthem here at LeGrande High School as both teams have taken their warm-ups. We've been here for about an hour, seen both teams shooting on the floor as we get ready for action here. This has been warm-up time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Tillamook Cheesemakers and LeGrande Tigers. This is OSAA US Bank, Les Schwab Tire State High School basketball championship action. And Bruce, there's nothing like playoff action.
Well, this place is packed. There's energy. There's a buzz here. Great setting. I love the gym.
Yeah.
And, I expect both teams to come out and have a lot of juice right off the bat.
Yeah, maybe too much
to
start with.
That's the trouble.
Cheesemakers have been introduced down on the floor. Again, starting lineup is Flores, Collette, Johnson, Rummage, and Jacob Berge for the Cheesemakers. A great setting we set, and probably the largest student section we've seen all year long.
Yeah, and the gym is full, and as you mentioned, it's on both ends. There's bleachers. That's something a little different. Visually, you're shooting into people behind the backboard. That's a little different thing.
Yeah, it has more of a college setting, a college feel in that sense. In this gym, a gym that used to have two gyms that went crossways. Now they put one gym down the middle and wrap bleachers all the way around it, and the bleachers on one end go all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
So you can be in the back 40 here watching a game from the end zone.
Well, in the backboard, since there's not a wall right there, it feels like the basket kind of floating in midair almost.
Yeah, really some nice things here out of LeGrande, and they are here to support their team. Nobody, and I told Greg after the time we had talking earlier, is that nobody expects the Cheesemakers to be in this ball game. And
yeah, it's kind of we got nothing to lose kind of an attitude that we can go in with.
So the Cheesemakers will look to start fast like they did in the last ball game out in Ontario. 3 officials at Eastern Oregon officials come out. Unlike last week, a great job of officiating in Ontario out of Boise. 3 officials came over from there, and we are ready for action.
This ought to be a good one.
We hope it's a good one. Still Tannen going to jump up in the middle for Ontario. Still Tannen at 6'5" against 6'4" Jackson Johnson. Ball tipped up. Both players mistime it. Goes back, and Blackman will get it for LeGrand. They'll come right to left across your radio dial. They're in their all-white uniforms with blue trim, all blue numbers. Cheesemakers sit in the 2-3 zone. Moving to the baseline, Peasley. He's the guy they'll look for most of the time. Drives in. Peasley, his first touch. Cheesemakers cover it up, pick it off. Flores, bounce pass ahead. Collette, hands back to Flores, can't control, and turns it back over. A steal and a turnover. Cheesemakers got it down. Collette maybe took one more pass than he needed to there.
Well, Tannen kind of guarded the rim there.
Pass inside, laid it up and in by Chandler. As out on top, Peasley found Chandler sliding in and picked up the easy bucket. 2-0 down the lane. All the way to the hole, gets the bucket. Oh, it hung on the rim, but somehow fell away. Collette drew the foul, looking for the and one, but it didn't go down. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Talking to Alan Mortimer sitting next to me. Most of you remember Alan, longtime pastor of the Nazarene Church. His boys came through our system, and he's pastoring here in LeGrand and has seen LeGrand play a lot. Says their bench also very deep. We've seen athleticism out of their 5 starters already. 1 out of 2 on the free throw for Collette. 2-1.
Get on the board anyway.
Cheesemakers on the board. Underneath, looking again. Right wing 3 on the way is good. Nothing but net with a left-handed set shot out of the right wing by Zach Jacobs. Now it's the 1-3-1 zone press, almost picked off by Peasley on top. Back, this is the same defense run by Valley Catholic, and Collette steps inside the 2-point line and drains one.
Oh.
And then a violation in backcourt, and the Cheesemakers will get it on the turnover.
I think Flores kind of gave a feint there and caused traveling.
Cheesemakers get it underneath their own bucket. They go inside to Collette. He'll shoot 3 out of the corner. Hits again. Collette, he has the first 5 of the ball game. Make it 6 of the ball game, and Tillamook leads 6-5.
Boy, he came to play.
On top early with the ball, Jacobs. Jacobs, lob pass to the baseline. Kicks it back out in the corner. Right side, left-handed dribble around in the corner. Left side, tipped away, picked off. Cheesemakers with the steal. Baseball pass. Bad idea, but got through to Collette. Collette to Jackson down the lane. Scores! Jackson Johnson on the break. Athletic move of their own by the Cheesemakers, and they lead 8-5. Blackman on top, quickly to the other end. Tigers want to move the ball. Peasley inside to the elbow. Stops, kicks it back out. Peasley, it's 6-4 at the point. Inside, whistle foul, doesn't get it to go.
Wow.
And Rummage going to get whistled for the foul. Tough break there on the Cheesemakers.
A little bit of a bailout.
And to the line will go the guy that just hit the 3, Zach Jacobs.
Yeah, I'm not sure he had much of a shot, but Rummage gave him a little bit of a belly bump.
1 free throw is good. The first one, it's 8-6. Cheesemakers lead cut down to 2. He can make it 1.
Got Wagner in the game here early.
Second free throw is good as well. It's a 1-point game. Cheesemakers up 8-7 with 5:45 left to play in the first period. Flores tipped right side, but he maintains possession. Quick start here. Wagner got the elbow right wing. Picks off Flores on top. Collette, baseline, tried to pass it through people. Got it knocked away, but it went out to Berge in the corner. Berge, Hassel needs some help. Goes to Wagner. Wagner has shot checked at the elbow. Down comes Blackman with the ball. Blackman into the corner, baseline left to the sophomore. Double team. Oh, he traveled all over the place and finally got the call. He took 1 step and then drug, and then took another step, continued to drag, and the Cheesemakers get it back on the turnover. Third turnover by LeGrand.
Yeah, that Russ idea came out maybe a little shaky here.
Man-to-man defense put on Collette, he can drive himself to the hole, lays it up and in. Collette, 10 points for the Cheesemakers. Tillamook back up by 3.
Boy, interesting that Siltanen did not.
Beasley missed the shot, but the follow rebound up. He missed it as well. Rebound over the back, Berge. Berge outlet, Flores. He traveled with the ball. He went to pass on the break. He lost it, dropped it, picked it up again, but by then he'd taken a couple steps, and the Cheesemakers turn it over.
Boy, we're really trying to push the ball right now.
Yes, we are. Just like we did at Ontario.
Yeah, I like it.
Going to force the action.
It's going to cause some turnovers.
Blackman, high post, Siltanen, first look, baseline from 6. It's no good. Nice rebound, Blackman on top. Peasley steps through, athletic move. Oh, whistle foul is going to be against the Cheesemakers. They're going to say that it was before the shot. Everybody's going to complain about that when they find out, including Peasley. Peasley will go under the bucket to bring it in. 10-7. Cheesemakers by 3. 4.5 left to play in the first period. Shot Siltanen's no good over the back. Rebound comes down. Cheesemakers chase it out. Flores. Ramon, sideline right. They're going to drop into the 1-3-1 trap. Hands off to Ian Collette. Great start for Ian. Berge, not many touches yet. Gets one clear out on the far side. They go all the way out to him. Hands high post to Johnson. Back to Collette. 3 again. Good again. Collette on fire here early, and the Cheesemakers lead 13-7.
Ian's got 11 in the book already.
13 for the Cheesemakers. Siltanen, baseline right, kicks it out. Reverses to Blackman on top. Great shooter on the outside. Blackman steps in, now backs out. Left side, Peasley. First open 3. It's no good. Rebound, Collette. Collette, 2-on-1 break. Hands left side. Flores reverse it up and in. Cheesemakers break down the floor, and LeGrand wants timeout. Cheesemakers giving them a game right now as they're up 15-7 on the number 2 ranked team in the state, the LeGrand Tigers. Nice start for the Cheesemakers. First, if you can jump over to some stats, if that'll load. Tillamook's been the aggressive team so far.
And we are pushing the ball down the court and getting some good looks, plus hitting our outside shots. So right now this would be nice if this stayed through the whole game. You know, we're shooting 86% is all. And LeGrand off to a bit of a slow start, 2 out of 7. And, you know, we talked about you haven't played any kind of a real game for 2 weeks. My guess is it's going to take a little bit for LeGrand to get rolling in the game, and Ian Collette came out on fire.
15-7. Cheesemakers with the 8-point lead, largest of the ball game, very early, just halfway through the first period of play. On top, Collette with a steal. Collette on the drive down the floor, lays it up and in. Nice move by Collette, first with a steal and secondly with a finish. 17-7. Fans are in shock here right now. With the ball out on top. Whips it to the baseline left. Peasley going to try to drive. Stops. Backs out from 17. He hits this time. Tough matchup on the outside, and they're going to go to Peasley if they can. You know, down the lane. Kicks off left corner. Pump fake. Whistle. Travels with the ball. That guy's made 3 calls. Every one of them has been traveling. Turnover. Cheesemakers. Number 3. Got 5 on LeGrand. Out of the timeout, the Cheesemakers got the steal and the bucket, but LeGrand came down and answered. Pass inside, tipped away, stolen away. Cheesemakers, Collette on the drive, left side with a left hand, doesn't get it to go. Rebound comes down. Tough shot, almost went. Outlet, Peasley. Peasley running right wing, fake, pump fake. Brings out, cross-court pass, almost picked off and into the corner. Still Tannen for 3. It's no good. Rebound inside, baseline, laid up and in. Offensive chance for Chandler as Chandler gets the bucket. 17 a little up to 11. Up and down we go. Johnson left baseline 15. It's good. He hasn't hit that shot all year long, and it goes down.
And he wanted the ball. He was going to shoot that thing as soon as he caught it.
19-11. Cheesemakers by 8. Going baseline. Tough shot on the way. Whistle foul is going to be Berge, and that'll send to the line Peasley. Peasley is a tough matchup at 6'3". He's only a junior.
Well, he's got hot.
Not sure who to liken him to.
Oh.
Jordan Schreiber.
Yes.
That's who he looks like, a Jordan Schreiber. Athletic, not a big build, just very athletic and can jump out of the gym just like Jordan could. Of course, Jordan went on to play at Western Oregon State, so you know how good a ball player he is. Peasley, only a junior, another year to play at the high school level, gets 1 out of 2 from the line. 19-12, Cheesemakers by 7, 2:15 left to play. This OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires state championship basketball action. Berge on top, going to drive in. Alley-oops to the baseline, picked off there, bad idea. Chandler with the steal, going to run down the floor, lays it up and in. Cheesemakers got beat back that time. And Tillamook wants timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout. We'll go ahead and keep this one right here. At U.S. Bank, we team together to support our customers and our communities. We're pleased to champion athletics and activities-based programs that enrich the quality of life for everyone. You can count on every U.S. Banker to serve you and to cheer on the spirit of teamwork. From the start of the game to the final whistle, U.S. Bank is proud to sponsor the OSAA U.S. Bank Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Good start to the ball game, Bruce. We hope for a good level of energy. We hope that the Cheesemakers would come out and compete right off the bat. They certainly have done just that.
And I love the fact that we just did this long road trip, come out, play a good game. It kind of feels like not that much different. So there's a level of familiarity with it for our players.
Certainly a better team. Grande is a vastly better team. Berge got the ball left wing. They didn't give him a sniff of room. Peasley on him. Now down the lane. Jack, don't know how he didn't get a call. Foul called there as he gets hammered to the ground. And the ball comes out the other way to Schiller just into the ball game. Schiller, bounce pass on top. Pump fake set for 3. Hansen is good. So Hansen hits a 3, and it's a 2-point game. Collette on top, working against man-to-man defense. Down the lane, didn't get the call again. Ball tipped out of bounds off Tillamook. Twice the Cheesemakers went inside and got no help at all. And so to the other end we go. Abbott and Hurleman right back out after a minute or so inside. We're on the floor with 1:20 left to play in the first period. Left wing with the ball, reverses around the top of the key. Hands off Schiller. Schiller waits, looking left side for Hansen, who just hit that 3. They go high post to Peasley, who shoots from 15. He missed it. Rebound tipped loose, but comes out to Wagner. Wagner ahead, Johnson. Not sure why he gave it to him. Berge looked for 3, won't take it. Berge on top, gives it. He'll take it this time for 3 and hit. He gave it up the first time. I'm a little surprised, but he towed the line and drained it for 3 the second time. It's 22-17. Cheesemakers firing on all cylinders here early in the state playoff.
Nice inside-outside there.
Beasley down the lane. Tough shot on the way. No good. Rebound comes down to Johnson. Outlet Cheesemakers. Down the lane. Hacked on top. You got to be kidding me. Stolen. Breakaway. And a two-hand dunk. Collette got mugged out on top of the key and did not get a call. (22-19). Greg all over the official.
Boy, he came all the way over to talk to him.
And Greg all over him still.
That's unusual to have the ref come over while play's going on.
As Collette gets mugged at midcourt and then a kick ball, and it comes out to Peasley going the other way, and he ends it with a dunk, and it's a 22-19 game. On top, fades from 3, no good. Johnson with a rebound. 7 seconds left. Berge again for 3. Good! Berge out of the corner for 3 at the end of the first period, and the Cheesemakers take a 6-point lead into the break. 25-19, Tillamook by 6 at the end of 1. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Wow. I had my head down. I never saw one.
Offensive rebound kicked right back out.
No, that's not turnover. Maddening, isn't it?
Yeah. But you got to expect it, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, maybe you need to go closer to your mouth, because I've got you turned way up and me way down.
Boy, that's not normal.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm just not getting the same volume out of you. Not exactly sure why. Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. The Cheesemakers, after hitting the final shot of the first period, will have the ball to open up the second period as well. As they move left to right across your radio dial in their all black traveling uniforms. Trying to pull the huge upset here as they lead 25-19 over a great basketball team that's only lost 2 games this year and none to 4A schools. Collette needs some help on top. Berge backing up, just hitting his second 3. Back to Collette. Cheesemakers will set the offense. Man-to-man defense. Off to Wagner. Wagner to Berge. Berge now going to drive. Stops at the elbow. Shoots off the glass. No good, but the offensive rebound out to the far side and out of bounds. The Cheesemakers will get it back as Teasley tipped it away. And, boy, Tillamook has not gotten a break going inside right now.
No, and Jacob got slapped on the elbow that time on his shot.
Tillamook will bring it down again. After the out of bounds, tipped on top, Collette, tipped away again. Berge, backcourt, loose, picked up finally, stolen down the floor, and the whistle and the foul is going to go against the Cheesemakers. We knew coming into this they were going to play it physical, and we knew they were probably going to get by with it. These guys have called their games all year long, and that's the way they're going to play, and the Cheesemakers better step up to it, and they have so far. To the free throw line, it'll be Zach Jacobs. Jacobs has 3 points in the ball game on one lone 3. He missed, though, the free throw. Great student section down to our left for LeGrande. They've got probably 200 kids in their student section. Tillamook on the other end has their band, which sounds like 200 kids usually. As the foul will be on number 2. That'll be on Ramon Flores. As Taylor going to come out, come in, and Berge going to sit down. Short rest tonight for the Cheesemakers so far as they come in off the bench. Second free throw with a flip is no good, but the long rebound tipped all the way back out to the shooter. Left wing 3, set shot is no good. Rebound inside LeGrande again, lays it up and in. 3 chances that trip down, and it's 25-21, 4-point game. Collette, Taylor, the reverse left side, trying to go backdoor cutter. Nobody home there. Kicks out to Wagner on top of the key. Wagner hands off to Collette. Going to try to drive. No, he'll shoot from 17. Left it short. Rebound Wagner. Got it inside. Got his man up. Scored! And he is fouled. He took it up on Siltan and got him off the ground and then took a shoulder in. He gets the bucket and the foul. The leading scorer for the ball game last week gets his first 2 of the game tonight. 27-21. Cheesemakers up by 6 here in the first half. 6:40 left to play in the first half. Bruce coming over. We said if Cheesemakers can just make it a ball game, make it entertaining, make it worth the trip. Been every bit worth the trip so far.
Yes. And you know how this works. When you're the favored team, if it's a close game late, there's a lot of pressure on that.
Longer you stay in this, the better chance you have. Inside Siltanen down the lane. He missed a shot, but the offensive rebound goes again to LeGrande down the lane, laid up and in by Zach Jacobs. They ought to figure out that he's left-handed.
Yep. Well, he's got 11 now.
Has not cut him off. Out on top, Anthony Taylor. Taylor, right side to Johnson. Free throw extended, right wing to Wagner on top. Wagner, back door to Taylor. Has it checked, came down with it himself. Back out to Flores. Pass inside, lost it, comes off. Johnson, fade from 8. He missed it. Rebound. Tipped out of bounds, says our band. Whistle foul going to be Flores on the reach in backcourt. Second foul on Flores. And he'll have to come out of the ball game as Berge will check in for him with 5:59 left to play. Cannot afford to lose him defensively, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, foul trouble. We don't want to get, that's 5 team fouls. We do not want to get in foul trouble.
Only 2 called on LeGrande so far. And I'd say the Cheesemakers have been the more aggressive team so far. On top, skip pass to the right wing. Jacobs, the guy hurting the Cheesemakers right now. Peasley, their star athlete, sitting on the bench here.
Boy, an offensive rebound by LeGrand is hurting us.
Yeah, 28-23. Cheesemakers by 5. One-on-one game out on top. And the foul's going to be on Taylor or Berge. Oh, traveling first.
Nice.
The officials talked about it, and then they called traveling. I don't know.
Maybe they couldn't agree who called a foul, so they called traveling.
I thought it was pick a foul, one or the other on the Cheesemakers. Tillamook got a break there. Cheesemakers right wing. Johnson looks inside, trying to go back door. Kicking out to Wagner. Clear out by midcourt. Trying to move the ball against that man-to-man defense. Down the lane, Taylor left side, fake. Kicks it off right side to Johnson. Johnson hands back to Berge. Berge going to try to go back door. Collette got a man on him, beat him down the lane. Kicks off baseline. Wagner from 15. He shot at 18, and then foul from the backside is going to be on Collette. That'll be the 6th team foul against the Cheesemakers. They'll be shooting from here on out, and free throws could be huge in this ball game with 5 minutes left to play in the first half.
We got to be a little smarter on some of these. That was
last 2 fouls were not smart fouls by the Cheesemakers.
Yeah, there was no reason to reach in right there.
LeGrand, cross court, almost thrown away, but a three-pointer out of the corner is no good. Rebound, tip, loose, whistle, foul. Finally got a call in back court, and it's going to be against Matt Wisdom with a foul that was not so wise by Matt Wisdom. And the Cheesemakers, he learned that from Tillamook, I think, on the last 2 possessions. Tillamook will get the ball back. Good job on the defensive board that time by Jackson Johnson. Taylor around a high screen. On top, left side to Berge. Berge fade from 15. Left it short. Rebound comes down to LeGrand. Tillamook's gone cold all of a sudden in the second quarter as they've scored only 3 points, and the ball tipped out of bounds. It'll still be LeGrand ball. Still Cannon. Near side, the 6'5 senior gives it up, gets it back on the left wing. Almost turned over, but there to pick it up again is Zach Jacobs. Still Cannon, baseline from 6 is good. And it's a 3-point game. On top, Berge. No, Collette. Collette needs bounce pass. Gives it up, gets it back. Not sure how he got it in. He didn't. Turned it over. Picked off inside. Threw a lot of hands there. Lucky not to turn it over on the first bounce. Turned it over on the second one. Left wing 3. Good. Whoa. Quick catch and shoot by Gabe Hansen, and we are tied. 9-3 run by LeGrand here in the second quarter. Cheesemakers on top. Johnson having trouble against this man-to-man. Underneath, missed the shot. Berge, though, with a backside rebound. Gets it, hands it off to Wagner with a left hand. He missed it again. Got intimidated that time. Threw a shot up before he is ready to take it. And the Cheesemakers can give up the lead this trip down the floor. Siltanen, 15, good. Nice shot by Siltanen. It's 30-28. Cheesemakers for 3. Collette, good, and the answer, and the Cheesemakers take the lead right back.
I was going to say that LeGrand has really tightened down on Ian, but he didn't give him a chance that time.
Ball tipped away out on top. Collette saves it back in, but they say he was on the sideline, and so it'll go back to LeGrand. Johnson going to come out. Hurleman back in. Flores back in. Be careful with the fouls on Flores. 3 minutes left to play in the first half. 31-30. Randy Shield and Bruce Rhodes, your broadcast crew, over FM 95.9. OSAA U.S. Bank, Les Schwab Tire State High School Championship basketball action. Number 15, Tillamook against number 2 in the seed down the lane. Goes to Wisdom on the baseline. Double team, triple team. Get him out of the key. 3 seconds. There it is, and the Cheesemakers will get it back.
Well, he had a couple of times that he could have just gone up to the basket.
And he didn't.
And he was kind of just spinning in circles and got caught in the key.
He got caught in the pass mode and forgot to look up. Cheesemakers get the ball back on the turnover. Turnover, number 8. Flores on top. Tillamook with a 1-point lead. Berge on the left wing. Now he's going to drive. Tough shot on the run. No good. Rebound comes down. Nice job by Flores. Not fighting for the board and going over the back. Into the corner, left side. Going to step in. Pump fake. Take it to the hole. Shot missed. Rebound Hurleman. Nice job on the board. Hand off in the Cheesemakers control. Left to right they go to the top of the key. Up by 1. Collette, elbow left jumper. Off the glass, no good. Goes down on his feet after getting knocked over. Didn't get the call. Out on top. Comes out to pressure, and he gets the foul. That was a dumb foul again by Ian Collette. number 2. Totally frustration foul there. As he got fouled on the other end, didn't get the call, and he was going to get even.
Good sportsmanship there. He and Jacob kind of talking, not trash, but kind of talking with each other in a little hand slap.
And it's going to be 1-on-1 shooting. And unfortunately, the shooter just checked out, so he's got to go back into the ball game. GT Blackman goes back to the scorer's table. He's their starting guard. You know, we heard they're deep. They're deep. Good basketball team. Free throw is no good. Rebound comes down to the Cheesemakers. Missed the front end of the 1-on-1. Tillamook with the ball down the floor. Berge, get him off the reaching, for crying out loud. Berge left up, going to try to beat his man to the baseline. All the way to the hole, lays it up and in. It was Wagner from the wing for 2.
And he's got Siltanen on him, and he's just quicker.
Yeah, Siltanen cannot cover Wagner on the outside. 33-30, Cheesemakers by 3. Minute 48 left to play in the first half. Left wing had an open look, and he traveled with the ball.
Now, it's interesting, when a kid gets it close to the three-point line, they always want to move their feet behind it.
Worth one more point, but sometimes you have to use the dribble to do
right.
that.
You can't just tip backwards behind the three-point line.
33-30, Cheesemakers by 3 with a minute 38 left to play in the half. Wagner on top, Siltanen hands off to Berge against that man-to-man to Blackman. Off to Hurleman. Hurleman kicks in, now passes out. Ball tipped, Cheesemakers get it back. And he stepped on the midcourt line, and the Cheesemakers turn it over. Don't know if he had full possession there or not, but they're going to say he did. And I think he did step on the midcourt line, which, if he had possession, would have been the over and back call. 8th turnover for Tillamook, 9 now for LeGrande.
A little sloppy both ways, but tough defense.
Tough ball game. Really, two good, very good basketball teams going at it right now. Beasley back into the ball game, baseline. Blackman almost tipped it away. Goes left side, three-pointer on the wing. It is no good. Hurleman, nice rebound. Push it down the floor to Wagner. Wagner, crossover, stop. He has it checked, loose. Now a pile on the floor. What'd they call? Oh, they're going to say LeGrande ball.
I think Hurleman was on the end line when he tipped the ball.
Cheesemakers a little bit out of control there. Galad's going to come out here in the final 1 minute as a bunch of subs in. Wagner out as well. Rummage back in. So it is Flores, Taylor, Berge, Rummage, Johnson for the Cheesemakers. Under a minute left in the three-point game here in the first half. Beasley, baseline, stepped on the end line as well, and the Cheesemakers get it back. Trading turnovers, 10 and 9 now between the two teams. 48 seconds left. Tillamook's going to try to hold for the final shot. Without Ian Collette in the ball game, this could be a challenge.
Well, again, LeGrande is pressuring all the way out to half court.
Taylor, near side to Ramon. It's a man-to-man defense. Ramon, cross court, off to Berge. Berge going to hold the ball out by midcourt. Stand right there and take your time, and if Peasley's not going to guard you,
still
he
no
backs
count.
Up.
They're still not counting on it.
Don't back into the corner, though.
There we go.
You got to be kidding me if that's closely guarded. Oh, that is ridiculous. That was the furthest away closely guarded I've ever seen. He couldn't have reached a hand within 5 feet of him. And the official behind Berge couldn't tell he was counting. There was absolutely no way, and yet a 5-second count is called. That was an Eastern Oregon special there. Cheesemakers get the short end of that one. 33-30 down the lane. GT, shot no good. Rebound, outlet. It's turned over with 2 seconds left from midcourt. It's no good, and that's the end of the first half of play. Wow, that was a wild first half of basketball. Tillamook leads 33-30 at the half over the number 2 ranked team in the state, the LeGrande Tigers, who are 19-2 in the season. Remember, the Cheesemakers are 10-16. All these fans here did not expect this. We'll be back in 1 minute. Yep. They competed well there.
Scrappy.
Yep.
Good first quarter.
They competed well. Didn't come out intimidated. That's really good to see. It's hard to believe we're 16 coming back up. That's why they got the hot hand.
Stuff is paying off now.
Easily paying off now.
The hot hand and making all those points.
Collette. Rouse. Shannon Rouse. Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. It's halftime, and the Cheesemakers lead 33-30. That's right. Cheesemakers lead 33-30 over the LeGrande Tigers as their dance team down on the floor entertaining a huge crowd here in LeGrande. Student section plugged, both bands here as Tillamook brought their band as well. A small adult section, probably 25 people or so from Tillamook, but a huge section for LeGrande, and LeGrande did not by any means expect to have a challenge here as they are taking on the fourth-place team out of the Coapa League, the team that's 6 games under 500 on the season. But as I talked to Kurt Shelley here, the superintendent from Grant Union, Cheesemakers, a benefactor right now of playing in the toughest basketball league in the state, having played number 1 and 2, not in the year, in the same week, 3 days apart. Nothing here has intimidated this group of Cheesemakers as they lead by 3. If you joined us late, Tillamook built the lead up to 10 in that first period. They led 17-7. Tillamook put 25 points on the board in that first quarter as LeGrande, Cheesemakers were up 17-7. LeGrande outscored Tillamook 10-2, but then the Cheesemakers answered and led 25-19 at the end of the first period of play. LeGrande came all the way back and took the lead at 30-28. The Cheesemakers quickly answered with a Collette 3, who has been money in the first half. He scored 11 points the first half of the first quarter, and he's continued to play well and score well for the Cheesemakers. Tillamook, great overall performance here in the first half. They lead by 3 over LeGrande, 33-30 here at halftime. Bruce going to have the stats. We'll have that and more here at the half after this 1-minute break for our sponsors. Going back to Cheesemaker basketball, it's halftime. Tillamook leads 33-30 after the LeGrande High School dance team entertains the crowd. One of the longer routines I've ever seen. Did a really nice job down there. Everything LeGrande has done and does seems to be done with class. This is the best band and rooting section we've seen outside of Tillamook all year long. You got to be proud of them there. But, of course, they haven't lost a home game. They're 19-2 on the year, and you remember the years when the Cheesemakers were ranked 1 or 2 or 3 going to the state tournament, and all that energy and excitement. It's just like that here in LeGrande. And you also remember how nervous you were in that play-in game, that round of 16 game, when you had to win to make it to Corvallis or Eugene or wherever you might be going. And LeGrande feeling some pressure right now as the Mooks have come in and played the way they are capable of playing in the first half. They lead by 3. What about the first half stats?
Well, I mentioned that we were shooting, 85% there pretty early in the game. Obviously, you don't keep that up. And by halftime, really, really close in terms of LeGrande is 12 out of 26. Tillamook 13 out of 28. So that's 46 and 48%. And we are 5 out of 6 from three-point range.
Oh, boy, that helps.
Oh, and that's Ian Collette, 3 out of 3. And then Jacob Berge is 2 out of 3. So that's some good scoring. But LeGrande really extended their defense. That was in the first quarter and early second quarter. Not so much there once LeGrande kind of pushed out.
We heard them in the 1-3-1. They came out and tried to trap in that 1-3-1, and we did exactly what we needed to, because I'll tell you, their 1-3-1 looks good. It is not in the same class as Valley Catholic.
Oh, for sure. Not nearly as long.
No.
And once we got some quarter shots out of that.
Yeah.
Because you have 4 players in the defense, free throw line and higher. Once you work the ball past that, you have some open space. So Tillamook did a great job out of the gate. Leading scorer, Ian Collette, 16 in that first half. Jacob Berge with 6, and Cheesemaker with 5. Interesting, looking at the scoring, Zach Jacobs, who I would not have picked out just watching them warm up. I thought Sultanen, the tall kid, and Peasley are going to be their main scorers. Boy, Jacobs hurt us, and a lot of that was some of the offensive rebounding and putback with the left hand, which a lot of times plays to a person's advantage. Another big stat, 10 turnovers both ways. And, so far that's evened itself out. Both teams have gotten some easy buckets off that. But you look at the second half, if one team now can stop that and the offense, if they can hold the turnovers down offensively and still create, that's going to cause a big swing second half.
Yeah, there's no doubt in this ball game that LeGrande is the more athletic and probably better basketball team. The Cheesemakers have played well in the first half. If they have any laps at all, shooting-wise or ball handling-wise, then they'll lose this ball game and could actually get blown out. But if they play a second half like they did the first half, all of a sudden LeGrande's got to be feeling the pressure. This could get interesting.
And I'd say this third quarter is huge right now.
Huge.
If we're still close to this, a little above, a little below, with heading into the fourth period, I'd say we have the advantage there.
Cheesemakers lead at 33-30 at the half. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball, Tillamook Cheesemakers and the LeGrande Tigers. It is, we better read one of these. Get your state championship merchandise from www.osaastore.com. Get commemorative shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and much more. If you need a shirt from past years, they can get you one as well. That's www.osaastore.com. The winner of this game will go on to the state tournament at Pacific University on Thursday, and the Cheesemakers, if that's them, well, actually whoever wins this game, will play on Thursday at 8:15 in the evening against the winner of Banks and Cottage Grove.
Oh, how fun.
I would love to have another shot at Banks. I thought we wasted an opportunity and could have beat them the last time we played them and did not. It's hard to beat a good team 3 times. It makes it even harder to beat them 4 times. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, and you know your opponent. You could prepare for a known quantity then.
Cheesemakers, a long half of basketball, still a huge underdog in this ball game as they get ready for the second half of play. LeGrande is going to have the ball to open up the second half. I'm a little bit surprised that G.T. Blackman, their point guard, a 5'9 junior, didn't hurt the Cheesemakers in the first half because in practice, watching him, he didn't miss.
Well, he didn't even score that first half.
Blackman out on top. as Collette comes out to guard him. Driving down the lane, kicks off Peasley, right wing three. It's no good, but the putback is up and in by Chandler. Chandler gets the first bucket on the offensive board. Cheesemakers have been out-rebounded. Berge, left wing with Peasley on him. Pretty good matchup with two great athletes there. Collette pushed it through, right baseline. Goes inside to Johnson, left side Berge with a little fade from three is good. Berge hits a three. Maybe this is Berge's party tonight in the second half. He's a guy that could carry you to a state tournament.
I'd love to see it.
Blackman down the lane, jumper from 15, no good. Berge, nice rebound there. Cheesemakers come out with the ball and the lead, 36-32. Collette, crossover around the top of the key. Flores into the corner, Berge left side. Beasley comes out to guard him. Berge backs in, now he's going to drive around the high screen. Looks baseline, needs some help. Goes back door, Collette has the ball rejected out in the corner by Siltanen. Little up fake, he would have gone by him because Siltanen was jumpy. But he tried to shoot over him at 6'5". That's a tough thing to do. Rummage gets the ball inbound. Hands back to Collette. Cheesemakers working right to left across your radio dial, and they're all black uniforms and red numbers. That white mooks across their chest. Kicking out on top. Berge at the elbow, right wing, needs some help. Good defense there by Peasley. There's Collette going down the lane as Peasley caught him pretty hard, and he'll pick up the foul. And it'll be the Cheesemakers underneath. Collette has certainly been the most aggressive guard and the best guard on the floor so far tonight.
Yeah.
Left corner three. It's no good. Long rebound Johnson, though. Dishes to Collette. Down the lane. Reverses it up and in. Acrobatic shot by Ian Collette. And the Cheesemakers back up by 6.
Wow, and he challenged Siltanen and won.
Inside, Peasley down the lane. Lays it up and in with the left hand. I told you he looks like Jordan Schreiber. That was a Schreiber-esque move there. And a technical foul is called on an unsportsmanlike on Seth Rummage. Wow, that one kills you. It loses you the possession. Rummage goes straight to the bench and sits down. He said he intentionally tried to trip somebody. And Siltanen will go to the free throw line to shoot two. Tillamook had a 38-34 lead.
So does Siltanen have to shoot here?
No, he must be their best free throw shooter.
At 6'5"?
Because it wasn't a foul. It wasn't a personal foul. He gets 1 out of 2.
That's not who you normally see.
No, I would say.
By choice, going to the free throw line. But, yeah, boy, we lose a point and the ball here. That's not good.
Cheesemakers up by 3, 38-34. Rummage sticks down. Wagner is in. Down the lane, Peavy. He traveled with the ball. Boy, he had to have.
Well, and he carried the ball on his dribble.
Because his last dribble was above the top of the key, and he was right at the rim by the time he got there.
Yeah, you said he looked like Jordan. Well,
yeah,
not that much.
Not that Jordan. I was talking Jordan.
Oh, that's
Schreiber.
right, Jordan Schreiber.
Not Michael Jordan. Johnson with the ball for the Cheesemakers. He's going to try to take it inside. Takes it up, missed the shot. Siltanen, backside rebound. The big guy off to Blackman. Baseline left. Peasley. Eyes for three, won't take it. Covers up, they need some help. Now he will for three and hit. Cheesemakers backed off because he's on the drive the last time down. And that is a tie ball game. 38 apiece. Do the Cheesemakers have an answer? Rummage on the left wing. He'll shoot the long three. Sorry, Berge. Long three is good as Peasley looked around to see where the defender was. And the Cheesemakers put it down from three. Nice job by Berge. Ball clear out on top. Tipped into backcourt, over and back. Cheesemakers get it back on the turnover. Berge, left wing. Peasley came all the way out to the three line, and then they kind of stopped. He turned around and looked. Berge, closer to Greg Werner than he was to the three line, let her fly and got nothing but the bottom of the net. 41.
12 now.
41-38, Cheesemakers. Ramon Flores with the ball, handoff to Collette. Ian on top. Down the lane with a left hand to the hole. Gut goes! Oh, you need to see that on the highlight film. which we don't have, with a left hand high off the glass for two. Down the lane, rejected, follow, loose underneath, goes back to LeGrand. Out on top, let it go, turnover, over and back. Cheesemakers will get it back again. Oh, Ian Collette from the left wing. Scoop from the right hand to the left hand. Up off the glass, high over the 6'5" defender and into the hole. Backdoor pass down the lane. Flores traveled with the ball. Cheesemakers turn it over.
Was a great play, just eye contact, backdoor, and he needed one dribble to get there.
4:28 left to play in the third. 43-38, Cheesemakers, 5-5. On top with the ball, it's Jacobs. Jacobs back into the ball game. Gives it up, gets it back. Remember, he's left-handed. Pass to the left side, gives it up into the corner. Skip past near side, back to Jacobs on the baseline. Going to try to drive. Gets out to the left wing. 4-3 on the way. It's no good. Berge secures the backside board. Outlet to Flores. He's going to run the ball. Free throw extended to the left side. Back to Berge. Berge on top, and they'll set it up for the Cheesemakers. They run the offense. On top, Berge gets to the free throw line. Into the corner. Wagner going to take his man inside. Gets it rejected by Sultanen. Great play by the long arm Sultanen. Down the floor all the way to the hole. Miss. Rebound. Fought for. Loose. It's going to be Wagner on the foul. Tell you what, the Tillamook Cheesemakers have not been intimidated. They have not backed down one single bit. Competing the entire way. 43-38. LeGrand gets a second chance opportunity. Inbound on the near side goes to Schiller. Schiller will set it back out on top to Blackman, and they'll run their offense. Cheesemakers in the 2-3 zone. Schiller, free throw extended. Left corner three. It is no good. Oh, push from the backside, no call. Whistle foul Wagner. He had great defense, and they took a swing, and he hacked Chandler, and to the line is going to go Chandler to shoot two. No need to swing there, as he had the guy down deep underneath the backboard. Would have been a tough shot to make, but he bailed him out with a swing and the hack. Chandler, the left-handed free throw, no good.
You know, and that's easy to say because you can see it from here that he was in great position. But when you're, adrenaline's flowing, it's hard not to swing.
And it's his third personal foul, so he goes out and Taylor comes in. 5-point Tillamook lead, 3:23 left to play. Third period. Second free throw is good. Lead cut to 4. 43-39. Taylor on the near side goes backdoor cutter inside to Flores. Kicks it back out. Collette 4-3. Good again. Collette 4-3. Collette has 23 in the ball game.
Man, great game by Ian.
Junior's having a career of a ball game. Out on top, going to drive down the lane all the way. Shot doesn't go. That's a horrible call.
No, that's a terrible call.
Horrible call as he went down the lane. Johnson went up in the air. He pushed off with the right hand, shot it with the left hand. That was a brutal call.
Wow.
And to the line, we'll go the leading scorer tonight is Jacobs. And justice is done as he missed the first free throw. Greg says, he pushed off there.
Yeah,
the official is in poor position. He bailed him out there.
That was the offensive guy making contact as he fell away from the basket.
Entirely. An Eastern Oregon call. 2:56 left to play. Second free throw, he missed them both.
Oh, come on.
And they're going to say a lane violation on Ramon Flores. He touched the line. Boy. Second free throw, third free throw, no good as well. Rebound, Chandler gets it. And he travels with the ball. It'll be Cheesemaker's ball. Boy, they tried to give LeGrand
every opportunity.
Every opportunity there. 46-39. It'll get that way down the stretch, just expected. On top, right wing. Jackson goes back door. Collette down the lane. Wadded. Oh, my goodness. Collette ends up in a pile on the ground. It'll be Cheesemaker's ball back out of bounds underneath their own basket. Inbound, Berge. Looks to come in. Needs some help. And Tillamook calls timeout. It'll be a 30. We'll keep it right here as U.S. Bank is a proud sponsor and partner of the OSAA. Stop by your local U.S. Bank location today. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Cheesemakers with a 7-point lead. It was tied at 38. And the Cheesemakers have come back and outscored 8-1 the Grande Tigers on this run, and Tillamook has the ball. But as you would expect, things are going to get tighter down the stretch here. But Grande also not as free to go to their bench right now. They're going to try to ride this, and there's a lot of nervous energy in this gym right now.
Yeah, there is, and they've gone short, and there's kind of this tightness starting to feel a little.
There is. Alley-oop inside. Johnson gets it, lays it up. He missed it. Had it at the rim, didn't get it to go. Ball tipped loose. Cheesemakers come away with it. Out of bounds it goes. Tillamook will get it back. They ran the alley-oop on the inside to Jackson Johnson. Didn't get it to go. Inbound play again. Collette's open for three out of the corner. Good again. Ian Collette with 26 in the ball game, and it is the largest lead of the ball game at 10, and a steal by Collette in backcourt. Going to try to push the ball down the floor. In traffic. Has pressure. Tipped away. Berge, top of the key three. It's no good. It ran rim front and fell away. Oh, that would have been huge. Cheesemakers get back on defense. Pressure him defensively down the lane. Shot him away from 6. No good. Berge rebound. Going to push out to Collette. Collette ahead to Johnson. Johnson has it tipped away. Cheesemakers lose it. Oh, undisciplined that time. Now, pushing down the floor, the other end. Loose. Taylor picks it up. They want to hold it up, get bailed out with a whistle and a foul in backcourt. It turned into rat ball there just for a minute. We haven't seen that entire ball game. And LeGrande wants out, timeout, and they're rattled.
They are.
LeGrande is rattled right now. The Cheesemakers have him down 49-39. They're shaking their heads, and it's a 1-minute timeout. We'll take it as well. 49-39 Tillamook. 1:54 left to play in the third. Back in 1 minute.
And they don't know how to play in a game like this.
They haven't been in these.
No. I noticed there, the two NISA games were low scoring.
Yeah.
Obviously, really. But you get it up and down and behind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball. Randy Shield and Bruce Rhodes over FM 95.9 KTIL in Tillamook. This is OSAA U.S. Bank, Les Schwab Tire State High School Championship basketball action. The Cheesemakers lead by 10, 49-39 over the number 2 ranked team in the state, trying to move to the final 8 in the state championship round. Berge, near side baseline to Collette. Collette, Peavy on him, hands on, so they switched up and put Peavy on Collette now. Cheesemakers on top with the ball. Minute and a half left to play. Berge, right wing, off to Wagner. Back into the ball game with 3 fouls. Collette for 3 again. Top of the key, high off the iron, bounced around and fell away. Ball comes out to Peavy. Peasley with the ball, reverses left side, into the corner, set shot for 3. Good. Knocking it down was Zach Jacobs again. He's having a career tonight as well. 49-42, 105 left to play in the quarter. Berge goes baseline, kicks it back to Taylor. Anthony with the ball. Cross court, can't see pass there. Don't do that too many times against the athleticism. On top, Taylor pumps for 3. Oh, that's a weak call. Traveling on top on Taylor. Wow, you got to be looking for something to call that.
Yeah, because he pump faked and neither foot moved.
50 seconds left to play in the third period. 7-point Tillamook lead. On top, kicking left side. Long set shot for 3. It hit off the It hit off the scoreboard. It hit off the scoreboard, and they don't call it. And the Cheesemakers, it bounced off the scoreboard clock and into the bucket. There's no way, and they counted it for a 3 and didn't see it. And they'll say Tillamook called timeout because LeGrand stole the ball. The ball bounced high off the glass, off the scoreboard bracket, and into the bucket, and they counted for 3. What game are you watching? 49-45. Cheesemakers' lead is cut to 4. That's as blatant as you could ever see.
Totally obvious.
Totally obvious.
Completely obvious.
It went way above the backboard into a bracket.
It would have fallen off over the backboard.
And it bounced into the bucket. And they counted it. You got to be kidding me. Unbelievable.
I don't know. He's coming to the scorebook. I'm wondering if he's...
And...
Oh, he's asking for help, maybe.
And they're talking to the official scorekeeper. You got to be kidding me. That ball hit off the bracket and went in. You've got to be kidding me. How can 3 guys
and
officiating and a scorebook down here not be able to see that? 49-45. It'll be Cheesemakers' ball underneath their own bucket with a 4-point lead, and it should be 7, and the officials have completely blown it. 33 seconds left. Tillamook has to shake it off. So do I. Tillamook will bring the ball down the floor. Collette stands out by midcourt. They'll try to take the final shot of the third period. Berge back to Collette. Collette hands to Flores out by midcourt with 15 seconds left. Handoff to Collette again. They switched up. He's going to try to move. On top with 10 seconds left. Berge kick out 3. Good! Berge answers with a 3 the real way. And that is the end of the third period of play. The Cheesemakers get screwed on a 3-point shot, but they come back and hit one of their own. 52-45. Told you it wasn't going to be easy. We've got 1 quarter remaining. We'll be back after this.
I thought when they came over, well, this guy's going to, it was as plain as day.
Horrible. I'm sure glad we have 3 officials so we can see everything. How can you not see that? Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. We head into the final period of play, and Bruce, we were hoping to have a ball game to the final period. We certainly have had that.
We have. This has been a totally entertaining game all the way through.
52-45. Cheesemakers with a lead with 1 quarter left. This would be the biggest upset of the year in the state. It's the Cheesemakers. A number 15 could upset number 2. Pass back door. Wagner lays it up and in. Great pass from Johnson to Wagner for 2. Cheesemakers build their lead back up to 9 after that horrible break. That's not a break. It's just a missed call. In the corner, LeGrand with the ball. Still Cannon gets ready to check back in. Peasley at the free throw line. Finally gets out of the key for 3 on the way. It's no good. Rebound stolen. No, it goes back down the lane. LeGrand has it out on top. Peasley lost it. Ball tipped twice. Now finds a man. No, picked off by Wagner. Take your time. No, they'll push it down the floor. Alley-oop. Wagner backside lays it up and again in as Johnson for the second time on the feed. Boy, the Cheesemakers, ice water in their veins, have the largest lead of the game. It's 11, and LeGrand wants timeout on the floor. We got to keep it here. Cheesemakers by 11, 7:02 left, and LeGrand is not used to being in this position.
You're reading the body language right now. We hustled to the huddle. LeGrand all walked over to they don't know what to do.
They're shell-shocked right now. They haven't lost a game in this gym the entire year. They haven't lost a game to a 4A team this entire year. They're at home. This game's just a formality. They have their reservations made in Forest Grove. They did not expect this game to be a challenge at all as the team that's 6 games under 500, giving them all they can handle as they're 17 games over 500. Cheesemakers up by 11.
And turnovers starting to add up. That's number 16 for LeGrand.
56-45. Cheesemakers get back on defense. Left side, still Tannen for a long three. It's no good. Ball chased out near sideline by Collette. Ian going to bring it down the floor. Working back door, can't go there, so he hands off to Wagner. Wagner playing with 3 personal fouls. Left side to Rummett. No, to Berge. Berge from 15. Left it short. Air ball. Not sure if his foot got hit, hand got hit, or if he just flat short-changed it. Down the lane, steps through, shot on the way, and scores. And then he lost his shoe. Zach Jacobs, who's hurting the Cheesemakers, has 16 in the ball game. And he's continued to finish with a left hand. Good defense that time by Jackson Johnson. 56-47. Cheesemakers had their largest lead of the ball game at the 7-minute mark as they led by 11.
Oh, no. He never moved. Oh, that's terrible call. It was
offensive
just a
foul.
screen. Holy cow.
Cheesemakers, Johnson called for the foul away from the ball on a screen, and I'm telling you,
it's starting to get a bit obvious here.
56-47. Cheesemakers up by 9. LeGrand with the ball after the offensive foul by the Cheesemakers. That's the 15th foul. Ball on top. Stolen. Cheesemakers. Collette down the lane. Lays it up, and he scores. He gets a steal and a bucket, and again gets an answer after a tough call. Out on top. Pump fake for 3. Won't take it. Still Cannon in the corner. Set shot 3. It's no good. Long rebound, Wagner. Wagner going to push it down to Collette. Collette, will he take it in? No, he backs out, and then he throws it away. Not sure who he was looking at there. Oh, traveling, no call. Cheesemakers move back on D. Into the corner. Left side. LeGrand a little bit rattled now. Can they get it back together with 5:40 left to play? Inside again, it's Jacob. And the guy off the bench with 18 killing the Cheesemakers. Zach Jacob, a 6-foot senior. 58-49. Berge. Round to high screen, waits. Going to go to Flores. Cheesemakers moving the ball offensively. Out on top to Wagner. Wagner, left side, wide open. Flores for 3. He airballs it. That was way hard. Pushing the ball down the floor to the baseline. Cross court, on top. Tiltanen has to go through his hands, but chase it down in the corner. Cheesemakers trying to scramble down the lane. Jumper on the way and in by Wisdom. And the Cheesemakers, no. LeGrand wants timeout. 58-51, 7-point game. 4:52 left to play in the game. We'll take a 1-minute break as well. We'll be back after this.
That call is horrible. I don't know how you missed that. The judgmental ones on the fouls, I'm not going to argue. Clearly hit that. If you come over and have to score for us, whether it gets the couldn't tell what he's saying. I thought he was going to come over and now. This guy's horrible. That guy's all right. That guy's I don't know how you missed that. I don't know what you're watching to miss that. I don't know either. That's above me.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball, 58-51. Cheesemakers lead by 7. And the Cheesemakers up by 7 as the Cheesemakers will move over. I assume we're back on. Apparently we got a little bit of a late jump on that one, as the Cheesemakers will have the ball offensively. Question is this winnable? I think it's winnable. I'd still give us a little less than 50% chance, but the Cheesemakers have stepped up the entire ball game. Collette in backcourt. He'll work left to right, or right to left, against Zach Jacobs. Jacobs out on top. Goes off to Wagner. Wagner, baseline pass, threw it away. Tried to do too much there as the Cheesemakers turn it over.
16 now for Tillamook, 17 for LeGrand.
7 is the difference, 58-51. Blackman down the lane, high off the glass, and it's going to be a foul against Johnson.
Wow.
So to the line will go Blackman.
Wow.
I will say the Cheesemakers have not gotten many breaks here, and you didn't expect it coming here. It's gotten pretty sad here late in the second half when it's really a tight ball game, and you can't afford to have calls that really go against you, and these certainly have. Second free throw is no good. Cheesemakers down with the ball and a 6-point lead. They've had answers all night long. Do they have another one here? Nope, turned it over. Breakaway going down the floor to the hole, and foul, and to the line will go Zach Jacobs again. Turnover, and the Cheesemakers looking tired right now.
Yeah, they are. We haven't subbed nearly as much as we did in some of these other games.
17 turnovers apiece for both teams, and Zach Jacobs goes to the line. And he has been the guy who's killed the Cheesemakers, not the guy who was supposed to, and that's Peasley.
Peasley's been on the bench a lot of the game.
Yes, he has. Jacobs continues to hit the Cheesemakers.
19 for Jacobs now.
Jacobs can get to 20. Second free throw, he does not. Gets 1 out of 2, and the Cheesemakers need a bucket. Their lead is 5 with 4:10 left to play in the ball game. Down the lane.
Oh,
Traveling.
holy cow.
I have no idea where that came from. No idea. Traveling call. They're looking. And you hate to say that. It hurts when they're pulling for one team. Three-pointer out of the corner, no good. Rebound, Wagner. Jump ball. Alternating possession will stay with LeGrand. We used to say this in Astoria. Actually, we still do. You don't want it to be close when it comes down the stretch. You're not going to get a break. And they get an offensive foul. First break Tillamook's got in a long time, as Wisdom is called with the offensive foul. Full court pressure now. Use that to your advantage to step it up. Ball comes in, Wagner. Wagner bounce past Cheesemaker's going to move the other side to the other end. Give and go inside Flores. Lays it up and in. Great pass from Johnson, and that was a huge bucket.
Jackson's made some great passes there in the last 2 possessions.
Great passes. On top, pump fake 3. Now going to go down the lane. Scoop to the hole. He missed the shot. Rebound Wagner. That time, the Cheesemakers did not go up and foul him. Tillamook with a 7-point lead in the 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the game. Only 3 fouls called against LeGrand here in the second half. Collette, fade from 8. He left it short. Good look. He found a wide opening. He didn't miss those in the first half. Legs getting tired. He's got 28 in the game. Still Cannon. Right wing with the ball. Goes into the corner. Looks for a man there. Extends. JT out on top. Now going to drive down the lane. Tough shot on the way. Doesn't get it to go. Still Cannon missed the shot, but the offensive rebound. Right back to LeGrand, who jumped it up and in. It was Zach Jacobs again. Zach Jacobs has just killed the Cheesemakers. Cheesemakers break the pressure. Baseline. Needs some help. Johnson comes out to Berge. Berge's been quiet for a long time. Left side. With the ball, step through. Wagner, he'll shoot a three. Not this time. He banked it in Ontario. It's a 5-point game. 60-55. LeGrand still tanning for three. It's no good. Ball tipped out of bounds. It'll be Cheesemakers' ball.
Wow, that was a weird shot.
2:27. At what time, Bruce, do you maybe go into your five-man motion offense?
I'd say about another minute deep into this. If we can get it about a minute and a half.
We need a bucket this trip down.
Yeah,
5-point lead. Cheesemakers, boy, they competed hard, competed well against the number 2 ranked team in the state. Berge going to drive down the lane with a left hand, doesn't get it to go. Rebound comes out, they'll push the other end to the hole. Shoots, shot missed, he'll go to the line to shoot 2. That'll be the 4th on Wagner. Again, Zach Jacobs. Zach Jacobs, not a guy you would have scouted or had any idea that he was going to hurt you, but the senior is trying to carry LeGrand to the state tournament, or to the final site, the final 8 of the state tournament, and Tillamook wants timeout. We'll take it as well. 60-55. Cheesemakers lead by 5 with 2.5 minutes left. We'll be back in 1 minute.
He's been on the bench forever. Second quarter, he went out the 7-minute mark, came in a minute. Yep. He's been the whole fourth. No idea. Is he okay with it? Yeah. No idea. What's that? Exactly. It's worth the trip.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. This is going to be a long 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
My heart's pounding right now.
I know it.
Here's an interesting stat for the night. This will be 18 and 19th free throws for LeGrand. Tillamook has shot 3.
It feels like it. Cheesemakers have really not gotten any help over here. Let alone that 3 points that Cheesemakers, well, LeGrand got given. There's a big difference in this ball game right now. Oh, shot missed, but the rebound followed by LeGrand and then stolen. Cheesemakers bounce pass ahead. Collette down the lane, lays it up and in. Cheesemakers get an answer. Their lead back to 6. 62-56. Cheesemakers huge run out by Flores to Collette. Down the lane. Shot. Ball lost out of bounds. It's going to be off Tillamook. Too bad. Cheesemakers almost had the steal there.
Yeah, Jacobs lost the handle, but then it rolled off of Tillamook hands.
I have no idea why Peasley's sitting on the bench. Has not played much here in the second half. Inbound, waiting. Finally goes into the corner, still tanning. Out in the corner, right side, JT. JT going to drive in, lost his shoe again. Cheesemakers with a steal. Berge backs it on out. Take your time. Loses it. Out of bounds it goes. Cheesemakers get it back. And Collette lost his shoe, and at the same time, JT Blackman lost his shoe. I don't think I've ever seen that. It's like their shoelaces got tied together and both shoes came off.
That's funny. Leaving a string of pearls on the ground.
Minute 37 left in a 6-point game. 3 fouls against LeGrand here in the second half. 8 against Tillamook. Tillamook will bring it down in front of us. And they chancy pass and lucky to get that through off to Collette.
That was a dime right there.
That was Collette. Right side, going to look to move. And remember, same guy out there looking to make the 5-second call. Flores backs himself into a corner, gets it back out. Cheesemakers running time off the clock. 1:15 left to play. Goes left side. Inside, they take it and bring it back out. Wisely done by Berge. Oh, they try to foul him. No call. Hands off to Flores. And then they finally grab him to foul him. I don't know how they didn't call the 2 or 3 before that.
Holy smoke.
There's 1:02 remaining in the ball game. Tillamook has the ball and a 6-point lead. That's the 4th team foul. Cheesemakers will have to get it in. Gillette goes into backcourt, and he's fouled. That'll be the 5th team foul. Got to keep taking care of the basketball.
Yep.
I agree with LeGrand coming out to foul right now. 6 points down, you got to do that. Leaning on the Tigers. Collette, hands through Johnson. They kick it back out. Hands off to Flores. Flores to Collette. Whistle foul to Siltanen. That is 6.
They're not going to call anything unless it is an obvious foul.
Obvious.
Even when LeGrand is trying to foul.
Now you need the ball in the hands of Ian Collette. He's the guy who's had the hot hand tonight. He gets the inbound. Are they going to foul him? Oh, they anticipated that one. To the line will go Ian Collette. So it's going to be a free throw shooting contest from here on out. If you'd have told me coming into this ball game that we're going to shoot free throws to see who wins, I'd take that.
Yep, for sure.
62-56. Cheesemakers trying to earn their way into the Final 8 in the state tournament. And this becomes big. 49 seconds remaining. Ian Collette to the free throw line to shoot 1-on-1. It is good. 63. I'm shaking bad enough I can't hardly write a number down. Collette, second free throw. Good again. 8-point lead. 49 seconds left to play in the game. Left wing 3. Blackman, no good. Rebound, backside, tipped out of bounds. Cheesemaker's ball. Siltanen tipped it. Heads are down all over this gym. Inbound, looking, goes to, nope, stolen. Cheesemakers turn it over. Right wing with the ball, going to go down the lane. Shot on the way, it's good. Drove it. Oh, and they're calling a foul as well. Jackson Johnson, the bucket and the foul.
So they're going to give him free throws?
And it can't be after. It's a 1-on-1. How is this? I don't know how you're giving them the ball. 64-58. I have no idea what just happened there. I think they should be shooting. And Greg's calling timeout. I don't know how they called. I don't know how they called the foul there. He said the bucket went, and they give the ball to LeGrand out of bounds. How is that ever possible when you're in the 1-on-1? I don't understand this at all, and I will tell you I've watched a lot of basketball. We have seen some weird things. Tillamook still has a 6-point lead, but now LeGrand has the ball instead of shooting one after the made bucket.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
And the officials are going to talk.
Boy, they've called a terrible game.
Terrible. Horrendous.
Multiple ways, terrible game.
45 seconds left to play in the game. Tillamook leads 64-58. And that was also a bad pass by the Cheesemakers on the inbound.
Yeah, you got to make short little passes, not lob, loopy things.
That's also the 5th foul on Jackson Johnson.
Yeah, so he's out.
6-point game, and LeGrand with the ball, I believe. Although maybe it's with free throws. Oh, they're going to give him 1-on-1. They're saying it so far after the shot that the bucket counts, and we're going to give you 1-on-1. It's not a bucket and a shot, although it's the same guy that was shooting.
You never see that.
Never.
No, but that should have just been a bucket and one. Anyway, here we go.
Never, ever. Until you're ahead of the number 2 ranked team in the state at their house. Free throw on the way. Good. Crazy. Zach Jacobs. 64-59. 36 seconds left to play in the game. A 4-point possession. He gets them both. Collette in backcourt with the ball, and he's fouled. That'll be the 8th team foul. And Collette will go to the line at the other end. 64-60. Collette free throws, shooting 1-on-1. There'll be one more 1-on-1 opportunity in a 4-point game. 64-60. Cheesemakers by 1 with 33 seconds remaining. Collette free throw is good. Up by 5 again with 33.8 seconds left. Ian Collette, second free throw. He got them as well. Got them both. Cheesemakers extend.
Well, you
do not foul.
Game of the year.
Game of the year, undoubtedly. 30 seconds left to play. On top, Blackman. Blackman steps up for a 3. And he hits it, and he is fouled. I don't think I can watch. 66-63 as Blackman hits the 3 from the top of the key, and he goes to the line trying to complete the 4-point play. And a lane violation out on top on LeGrand, and they give it back to the Cheesemakers. That would have been the second 4-point play in a row by LeGrand. 25 seconds left. 3-point lead. Cheesemakers will bring it in underneath their own bucket. And Collette lost it off his hands out of bounds. Hanging on him all the way through. And it's a 3-point game with 24 seconds remaining. And LeGrand will call timeout. 66-63. How often do you see this in the NCAAs? They do an upset alert, and it's 15-2. 15 versus the 2, and they say the 15 might upset, yet the 2 somehow comes back with this miracle at the end. That's kind of what this feels like it's heading to, and the Cheesemakers can't buy a break right now.
No, cannot buy a break, and they're making a few little tight. You can tell. We're playing a little tight right now.
Turned the ball over twice in a row last 2 times. They have 20 turnovers in the ball game against the number 2 team in the state who's lost only 2 games all year long. Cheesemakers cannot turn it over 21 times and win this game.
No, I agree. And, it's hard to even describe right now.
66-63. You're going to be looking for Blackman for a 3, I would expect, as LeGrand could go for a 2 and a foul, but you got to keep getting the ball in the hands of Ian Collette. And Ian Collette, his jersey was about big enough for you and I to wear, getting pulled on that last one as it went off his hands out of bounds. But you got to play through it. Boy, if the Cheesemakers can win it, they will have overcome a whole bunch of odds.
They will have earned it, haven't they?
Oh, you're not kidding. And
so you got to stay aggressive here without being foolish.
You do not want to go to overtime as Johnson sitting on the bench. Well, Grande brings it in. On top, carried the ball, and they got the call. Cheesemakers got the call on the carry by LeGrand. GT Blackman carried it on his hip on the left side. Got to get the ball inbound. It goes into Flores. Flores gets tackled. Ramon Flores, the guy now that has to go to the line. I remember back to a game early in the year, Dayton, I believe, when Ramon went to the line 1-on-1 and could not convert. He goes to the line. He's been so big for the Cheesemakers down the stretch here, the junior guard, as Ramon Flores with a 3-point lead and 21 seconds remaining. And it'll be 1-on-1 as the 9th team foul on the big 4-sided scoreboard that hangs above the Tiger in the middle of this floor.
Well, getting 1 here would be huge, just making it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, 2-possession game to be big. Just a 1-on-1 free throw. Ramon Flores with 21 seconds remaining. On the way, no good. Rebound comes out to LeGrand. LeGrand with the ball. They'll push it down the floor with 15 seconds left. Pump fake for 3. Out of the corner. No good. Rebound backside. It's no good. Rebound. Collette comes out with the ball, and he's fouled. He'll shoot free throws. It'll be 2 with 9 seconds left. The Cheesemakers They're on the verge of an upset. A big upset. Tillamook's been on the other end of this before. I know how it feels from the LeGrande side. The fans, nervous as can be. 2 free throws. Collette, good. It's a 2-possession game. 67-63. Cheesemakers by 4 with 9 seconds remaining. Collette, second free throw. Good as well. Cheesemakers lead by 5. 9 seconds remaining. No fouls. Pushes right side. LeGrande going to push inside. Shot on the way. It's no good. Loose. Ball. Oh, Cheesemakers foul with 1.5 seconds remaining, but a 5-point lead. They'll be shooting free throws, and the Cheesemakers, I think, are going to win this thing. To the line goes Blackman. Blackman to shoot 2. First one is good. Cheesemakers have to have 2 guys in the line, and Tillamook will have to get the ball inbounds. If this free throw is made, it'll be a 3-point game. Not over yet. 68-64. 1.5 seconds remaining. They throw it off the glass. Cheesemakers touch it. And the horn sounds, and they say the game is over. Al Michaels said years ago, do you believe in miracles? That feels like this, a miracle. You've got to feel for LeGrande, but my goodness, the Cheesemakers are going to the Final 8. Pack your bags. Mookville, you got to get to Pacific University next Thursday night. The Cheesemakers have pulled the upset of the tournament as the number 15 team, seeded second to last. In fact, only not seeded last because they couldn't match up against Seaside on the other side. The Tillamook Cheesemakers have knocked off number 2 in the state, and they're going to the state Final 8. What a ball game here in LeGrande as the Cheesemakers win it 68-64. We'll be back with Sports Extra after this 1-minute break for our sponsors.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? 36 for Ian. 36 for Ian. 36.
Give your headset to Kurt. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball and Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. The Cheesemakers pull the unbelievable upset here in LeGrande as they knock off the number 2 team in the state, a team who had not lost to a 4A school the entire year, had not lost in this gym ever, and the Cheesemakers pull off the victory here, 68-64. We're going to talk, before we do a recap of the game or anything else, I'm going to talk to Kurt Shelley. Kurt's a longtime basketball coach, actually was a head coach when Greg Werner was an assistant for you over in the Bend area and in Culver. Kurt, this is really the second time you've been able to see the Cheesemakers this year. You'd seen LeGrande before. You knew some of their athletes. Did you have any idea the Cheesemakers could come into this house and upset this team?
No, I really didn't. That's a remarkable win, and this is probably one of the better basketball games I've seen at the high school level ever. Nobody would give Tillamook a chance to get this win. I watched them play Seaside early in the year. I thought they had a lot of potential, but I guess the difference in what I saw tonight was Tillamook played in preseason. They kind of run the gauntlet each year when they play Newport, Gladstone, and teams that are real competitive. And if you look at this year's preseason, LeGrande played Prairie City, Dayville, Grant Union, and schools at the 1A, 2A level. Some of it was because of snow and cancellations over here on the east side of the state. but it was a tremendous opportunity to come in here. I think this whole gymnasium is shocked right now.
I think shocked, and you see a lot of tears walking out. Tillamook and Greg have been on the other end of that. We got upset by Gladstone in our own gym. We were talking about this before the game. Took Paloma 2 years ago right down to the wire and should have beat them in their place, yet could never finish. And tonight, as you watch this game unfold, Tillamook didn't get a lot of breaks in the second half. They had some things go against them, both call-wise, the three-point shot that was counted and never should have been, things like that. And yet every time something like that happened, they had an answer.
You know, I'm pretty impressed because this is a true meaning of a bunch of kids that face adversity and actually could have lost on the road here and were expected to lose. And, you know, there was some controversial calls. You know, they played through it. One specific, I don't know the rule for sure, but there's a shot clock on the top of the backboard here, and the ball clearly hit that when Legrand shot, bounced off of that and went in. They counted it. I don't think they saw it, but I'm not sure what the rule is on that because in high school basketball, I haven't seen the shot clock up there, so I could be wrong. I don't like to criticize officials, but I'll just put it this way. Tillamook played through some adversity, and you got to admire Coach Warner and Coach Lamb for having their kids prepared and ready to get this win. But what a great atmosphere for Tillamook. The band, the kids, the bench, the coaches. It's a great win, and probably goes back to learning lessons 2 and 3 years ago and how these losses hurt. So it's a good opportunity for them, and what a great thing for the community of Tillamook to be off to the state tournament.
Kurt, you also talked about the fact that in a break when we were talking during the ball game, that the Cheesemakers have run the gauntlet. They played number 1 and 2 3 days apart. They weren't going to be intimidated by number 2 here coming into LeGrand to play, and never once did they look like they were in awe or rattled. They came out here and were the more aggressive team and really took the game to LeGrand, and in some cases it's closer than it should have been.
Yeah, I would tell you, I was thinking there late in the fourth that they might win going away in double figures. And actually, I think the score is much closer than the game actually indicated. I haven't looked at the stats. You probably have those. But they rebounded well. They shot well. I think their defense was fantastic. And their matchup zone, LeGrand didn't really have an answer for.
No.
They had a few kids that hit some shots early on them, but Tillamook won the battle inside and out. So I'm pretty impressed with what happened. And I don't know who they'll match with next week, but
it's going to be either Banks or Cottage Grove. So it could be the fourth time Tillamook plays Banks if they can upset Cottage Grove down there, which is a real possibility. Banks athletic and long. Cheesemakers got beat by him 3 times. It really probably outplayed them the last time, just couldn't shoot the ball.
But we're going into the state tournament right now at the 4A level. I haven't seen all the teams around the state, but watching rankings and knowing the coaches that I know, there's 3 teams that I would not want to play in the state tournament right now. All from your league. I would not want to match against Seaside, Valley Catholic, and I really wouldn't want to draw Tillamook right now.
No, at 10 and 16, you look at a ball game like that, a team coming in, that certainly plays into a game like this as far as confidence. And do you think LeGrand overconfident coming into this, or just hadn't faced the same style of ball that Tillamook plays as a number 4 team out of the Quappa?
I think they played a weaker league, a weaker preseason, and their personnel, they played a little different personnel tonight that I've seen in the past. Don't know if there was some sicknesses, illnesses, some punishment going on with consequences, but I noticed they have a pretty talented athlete, a Peasley kid.
Yeah.
He didn't get a lot of playing time. I saw he did 6 minutes in the second, and I'm not convinced he got into the fourth quarter.
I don't think he did.
What was going on there, but that's irrelevant. Tillamook went on the road and got the win, and, what a great opportunity for
One final comment, our little guard, Ian Collette, he's a junior, put 36 on the board tonight. And it I don't know, maybe a quiet 36, had a great start, but in the end, the difference of the ball game. Hit free throws down the stretch, controlled the ball for the Cheesemakers. He's a good one.
He is a great one. I saw Ian in 7th grade at a basketball camp in Tillamook, because my son went to a Tillamook basketball camp. And maybe he hasn't grown a lot, but boy, he's grown on the basketball court.
Oh, boy.
I talked to my son in the second half. I said, hey, I think Ian has about 15, 20 points, doesn't he? Midway through the fourth, I had no idea he had 36 points.
36.
I thought he had 22, maybe.
Pretty good ball game for Ian Collette. Kurt Shelley, appreciate you coming up and talking to us, giving us some feedback on the ball game and your thoughts. You're one of the great basketball minds in the state. We appreciate your thoughts today.
Good luck
Thanks,
next
Kurt.
week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheesemakers win it 68-64 here in the huge upset over LeGrand. Let's recap the game and see how it went. Cheesemakers took a 10-point lead. They're up 17-7 in the first quarter, but LeGrand came rushing back, closed to within 2 at 19-17. Tillamook led by 6 as they headed into the second period of play. The second period a little bit rough. Cheesemakers got outscored 11-8, but continued to compete. LeGrand came back, took the lead 30-28, and then down the floor about 3 seconds later, a three-pointer put up by Berge, and Tillamook took the lead right back, and that was the last time LeGrand ever had the lead, 30-28. All the way along, you kept thinking, it's going to end. It's going to end. I got a text from Nathan Radcliffe along the way and a text from Tammy, both saying, do you think they could actually win this? And in both cases, I didn't have a chance to respond to Nathan. Nathan, if I would have, the answer would have been no. I didn't think they could hang on. Tillamook has not been in many close ball games this year, and it's tough to finish close when you're on the road, and yet they did it today. They led 33-30 at the half. The third quarter, what a wild one it was, as Cheesemakers led, outscored LeGrand. I'll say goodbye to Alan Mortimer. Appreciate you stopping by, Alan. As the Cheesemakers outscored LeGrand 19-15 in that third quarter. There are some real key spots in that third as Cheesemakers led 38-34 when Rummage got called for a technical foul of tripping. All of a sudden, it was a 38-38 game after a couple possessions. Cheesemakers right back down, and Collette hit a three. Took the lead right back again, the only other tie in the ball game. The Cheesemakers then led 52-45 going into the final period of play as they outscored LeGrand 19-15 in that third period. And then in the fourth, you thought it was getting too close for comfort as it was a 7-point game. The Cheesemakers pushed that lead up to 11 at 56-45. But then LeGrand came running back, and with 2 minutes left to play, it was a 6-point game. They got it all the way down to 3 after a weird call. The guy drives in, he makes the bucket, he's called on the foul, the 5th foul on Jackson Johnson, and they say it's after the shot enough that it's 1-on-1, not an and one, and so it's a 4-point play. Tillamook immediately gets the ball, pushed the other way, turns it over, as LeGrand comes down, hits a 3, and the foul is called on the 3, but a lane violation gives it back to the Cheesemakers, and it's a 3-point game with the ball. The Cheesemakers were up 63-60, I believe. I'm trying to look back at my stats. And again, LeGrand had a shot with 3. They missed a 3, got the follow on the rebound. The Cheesemakers came out with the ball. Collette got fouled. Well, first, Ramon Flores got fouled, went to the other end, missed the free throw, then came down. They had a shot to tie. Tillamook, after they missed the shot, Cheesemakers get it out. Free throws again by Ian Collette, and the Cheesemakers end up hanging on to a 68-64 victory in truly one of the most thrilling wins we've seen out of the Cheesemakers in many years.
That was such an entertaining game, and I'll tell you, we made a ton of plays down the stretch, and that's something you and I keep saying when we get in these close games, wondering how we're going to perform. Man, we made some great plays down the stretch.
Cheesemakers win at 68-64. We're going to be back with the stats on extended postgame. We got a long drive. What's an extra 5 minutes matter tonight for us?
I'll tell you, I'm pretty jacked up right now.
We will not fall asleep between here and the Dalles, I'll tell you that. Cheesemakers win it 68-64. We'll be back with the stats after this.
Holy cow.
Oh, my goodness.
My heart is just racing.
Hey, Holly, if you see Greg, have him come up.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
That was so much fun. Okay, we have one more Les Schwab to go yet. I know that was a long run. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball. The Tillamook Cheesemakers have earned their way into the Final 8 as the Cheesemakers will travel to Pacific University at 8:15 on Thursday night. Never, ever did I believe that was going to happen. A month ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, an hour ago. Did not expect it. Hats off to the Tillamook Cheesemakers who have pulled the monumental upset over the number 2 ranked 19-2 LeGrande Tigers here in LeGrande. Bruce, give us some stats.
Holy cow, that was a fun game. And 2 good basketball teams. You know, sometimes you get in a game and it's you know, some sloppy play or some lulls happen and a team will go on a run. Hey, those were 2 good teams going at it right from the get-go. And Tillamook just outplayed LeGrande today. Really some pretty close stats in some ways, and then some really stark differences in others. Overall, so LeGrande put up 54 shots. We put up 53 shots. They were at 43%. We were at 47%, so almost even. But, man, from three-point range, we were 10 out of 16 from three-point range. That really, you know, so you get 30 points out of those 16 shots. That is huge. Big difference in free throws in terms of number taken. LeGrande shot 23 free throws. We shot 10, and that's because they fouled intentionally.
Yeah, 7 of those were right down the stretch.
Exactly. But LeGrande only made 11 out of 23. That hurts, not even 50%. We made 8 out of 10, and pretty well closed it out with free throws down the stretch. Both teams with 20 turnovers, and that was a combination of some little shaky play and some really intense defense on both sides. And now individual scoring. I'll start with LeGrande. Zach Jacobs with 26, Beasley with 10, but it was a really quiet 10, and really nobody else made much noise for them. Ian Collette, 36, just from start to finish.
Game of the year.
Had a fantastic game. And that's also with him handling the ball about 80% of the time. Wow, what a great game for Ian.
Never came out of the ball game, I believe.
No, he was rock solid tonight. Jacob Berge, a great game with 15. Rebounded, played defense. Just an outstanding game. Chase Wagner off the bench with 9. And then Ramon with 4. Jackson Johnson with 4. You know, last week we had 9 guys in the scorebook. Tonight it was 5. And they made it count.
They did. The Cheesemakers win it 68-64. We're going to talk to Tillamook head coach Greg Warner about tonight's game after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center. Been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. On the way up, I was thinking about Gladstone, we lost by 2.
Yep.
Thinking about LaSalle.
LaSalle tip in. Paloma should have won.
I thought we were going to have that win.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, man, we got hurt. Oh. But, boy, did they step up. We had them for 36. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball. As Tillamook Cheesemakers win it by a final score of 68-64 over the LeGrande Tigers here in LeGrande. We have with us as a special post-game guest, Greg Warner. Greg, huge congratulations. Maybe the biggest upset you've ever had as a head coach.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm sorry for my voice. It's totally gone.
All of us have that problem.
Yeah, it ran out when we ran out of timeouts, too. I would say, you know, looking at the scorebook, I had no idea. And when you're in a game like that, it's kind of like fight mode. You don't really know what's going on at times, right. And they'll have a random call, and both ways. I just thought our guys, you know, battled hard, and it was one of the best wins that I've been a part of, you know, and I've been doing this a long time, and Coach Lamb echoed the same thing, and just really excited for our kids.
Oh, boy.
You know, we still have an 8-hour trip home and 1,500 miles.
I think you're going to fly home on the bus out.
I don't know. I totally skipped Baker when we were coming back from Ontario. I but kids are just elated. You know, on the way up, I told you earlier that I thought about the Gladstone game in 2009, lost by 2, and lost by 2 at LaSalle, and put back, and then lost by 2 at Tillamook 2 years ago. And you know, and I talked to the kids about that, and we learned from that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to block out. You got to make sure. You know, maybe it wasn't pretty tonight, but you know, there was no quit in them.
None.
And I just excited because that's a tough team. That's one of the best offensive teams we've played.
Yeah.
All year, and we took the Peasley kid, who I still think is one of the best athletes in that game. But
I don't know what happened to him because he disappeared. He wasn't even in the fourth quarter, and you look at the way the game unfolded, that was a key spot for him, and he just was gone.
Yeah, and they have so many shooters that spread you out, and then they take you off the dribble, and I see that Jacobs for them the lefty had 26.
Yeah, kid off the bench.
And it's always somebody like that steps up, For both teams, we had guys step up that, Anthony comes in at the end of the game and has to rebound for Jackson. And, and I talked to some of the other guys, and quite honestly, I think the guy that has the hardest time is given up the most is Mitchell Johnson. He's a senior, hasn't gotten in for quite a while, and we talked about that. We gave him a really good applause in the locker room because he's sacrificing, putting a lot into it, and then he's not able to get the payoff on the floor at times, and that's kind of being lost now. So we talked a lot about that, and maybe this wasn't your game, and the next one is. It's the next guy up, and so our guys are just on cloud nine right now, and we're excited. Take a couple days off, try to figure out who we are and where we're at, and then get back at it. So,
Greg, I didn't know if in a close game your kids could step up. You haven't been in many close games. All year long, you've been down, you've been up. You haven't, let me rephrase that, you haven't won many close games. And tonight, down the stretch, you didn't get a break. I mean, there wasn't a break. I take it back. You had one carry on the far side. It was traveling, and they could have not called it, but they did. So maybe that was a break because they got the right call. But, I mean, the three-pointer off the top of the bracket there off the clock, that's a horrible break. You got calls the one-on-one after a shot, a made shot on a lay-in. That's a horrible call. Yeah. And yet you kept battling through. And every time something went wrong, somebody in your group stepped up.
Yeah, and we talked about that. We talked, it's just a grind. It's kind of like the military, I would imagine. You're just getting beat down from every angle. But we said, whatever we do it together. And I get, I'm very competitive. I can't hide it. And, and I get into them about loose balls and stuff because they were so athletic and quick. Yeah. And so I just applaud our guys for being able to, stick it through because we had to switch our offenses constantly to keep them off of, they're jumping on passing lanes, and we didn't want to give up layups. And so, I'm just really excited for them because, the kids have, they got beat down last year, and you kind of lose that spark. And we've been trying to build that culture, and the crazy thing is being able to help out with football. I got to know Jackson a lot better, and Tyler, and those guys, and so it's been a little bit easier to coach them because there's so many things that are the same in basketball as football. Yep. So I applaud them for sticking with it because we could have rolled over. Honestly,
absolutely,
and just
100% true. So you look at, I know we got to get on the road because we got a long trip home, but for the first time we can seriously look at the bracket. So the bracket means you're going to play at 8:15 on Thursday night at Pacific University against the winner of Cottage Grove and Banks. We saw Cottage Grove down at the tournament last year. You've seen Banks 3 times this year. Could be 4. Banks has every opportunity to knock off the Cottage Grove team. And that would put 4 of the final 8 out of the Quappa League. That's a real possibility. You knew that you were playing the best teams in the state all year long in the Quappa League, and I think it paid off today.
I agree. And it wasn't fun. There was nowhere to hide in the league. But I told our guys that whatever happens in the league will prepare you for whatever's after. Yep. If you can get there. Astoria and Scappoose were the same way. They're like, hey, if we can get out of this thing, we can make a run because we played with those other teams. So, it just shows the strength of our league, but also the willpower of our kids, because you're coming number 4 out of the league. Sometimes you lose sight of that you have a possibility of moving on. So this is not easy.
Well, not easy.
This is probably one of the toughest games. And I'd say the other toughest game is the 3rd and 5th place game. Yeah. Because you're 1 game away and getting the kids ready for the next day. So. Yep.
But you have at least 2 games left now. What a wild last couple weeks you've had as you head into the state tournament Thursday night, 8:15, and that I had to say, and I said it on the air, so I can't deny it. 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 hours ago, an hour ago, I wouldn't have laid money on any of those things. Huge congratulations to you, Greg, and to your kids. I couldn't be more proud.
Thank you, and I appreciate all the support we've been getting from back home, and we hope that you guys come out and support us, like always, and have a showing for our kids. If
we can drive 7 hours and then 5 hours to play a game, you can drive an hour to watch the Cheesemakers play. We ought to fill that place with red come Thursday night. Greg Werner, head coach of the Tillamook Cheesemakers, the victorious Tillamook Cheesemakers. Congratulations.
Thank you. Go Mucks.
Tillamook wins at 68-64 over LeGrande here in LeGrande as the Cheesemakers. It was a thrill to be here. We weren't real excited about making this trip. Really felt, I don't know, like, wow, we have to go all the way over there after just going to Ontario. It was worth every minute.
Every single minute. That was just one of the best games I've seen in years and years right there.
Absolutely was. Tillamook wins at 68-64. They will play again in the state tournament, the Final 8, at Pacific University on Thursday night, 8:15. And it will be the Cheesemakers against either the Banks Braves or Cottage Grove. And that will be, again, Thursday night, 8:15. Be there. Should be a huge amount of fun. I hate to even sign off because that means we got to get in the car and leave. But the memories will last for as long as they can in the 57-year-old mind. They'll be here for a while. What a huge upset in LeGrande.
And, you know, one of the things I love about this kind of stuff is you look down right now and you got parents and you got players and you got coaches and everybody's hugging and laughing. And this is just going to be, like you said, just a burning memory, positive memory in people's minds.
Memory of a lifetime for these kids. Bob Lee and his band came down for this, and what a great event. You gotta have a little bit of sadness in your heart for LeGrande. This was a horrible loss for them. Yeah. But we're not going to worry about that.
No, but we know how that feels.
We've been there.
And now we don't very often know how to be the feeling of this big underdog, and we know how to get that feeling of getting knocked off. But this is a little bit different than typical for us.
Very different. They sat for 2 weeks waiting for this game, had their reservations made in Forest Grove for the state tournament. They were looking to win in the state tournament. All they had to do is just get by a team that was 10-16 on the year. And that team outplayed them tonight.
That's right. And that's why you play it on the court.
That is.
You know, and I was mentioning with Alan Mortimer afterwards, 11 for 23. That's what happens after 2 weeks off. Yep. That was for the free throws for LeGrande.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that you end up with. And once a game like that gets started,
it's hard to turn it around.
It's hard to turn it mid-game.
Cheesemakers win it 68-64. We really appreciate you joining us for this ride. It was a treat. Tillamook with a victory. We'll be back on Thursday night at 8:15. The Spin Sports Extra brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. This has been Randy Seal along with Bruce Rhodes saying good night and good sports. It's been a KTIL Sports presentation.